What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 11, episode 7. And it looks like we're starting to see the progression of the ladies getting tired of Phaedra. Cause this whole entire episode, they was taking shots. Okay, they was taking, especially Heavenly. Okay, but let's get into the review. Sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy just a little bit, okay? And I just got two things to talk about. So first up, it looks like they did not get to their 100K goal. So Heavenly was, I guess, on her Instagram, people were in her comments being like, hey, did y'all get to the goal? She responded to this person named Charles Thomas who said, did y'all get to the 100K? And she said no. And I said, well, okay. And then another thing from Heavenly, and I didn't screen record it. I thought I did, but a page on Twitter reposted one of Heavenly's clips from her reviewing the episode. And basically, she alluded to the guy that's paid, said he was going to donate the 4K to go on a date with Phaedra. He reneged on it. Allegedly, because this is what Heavenly is saying. Allegedly, the guy went around calling everybody to stop the payment or get the people not to cash the check, mainly because he was under the assumption from Phaedra that this was just supposed to be like a TV kind of thing. And I said, girl, if that's true, that is a mess. That's a mess. But we don't know. We don't know because Heavenly be talking both out of both sides of her neck sometimes. But I can see it being true. Because it felt like nobody wanted to go on a date with Miss Phaedra Parks, even though she's supposed to be the new city girl in charge. I don't know. Mess. But let's get into this episode. Let's talk about it. So the episode opens up and we see a group of the ladies going to celebrate Heavenly's son Zachary because he his way to dental school. So Heavenly has a really nice lake house with a double decker patio. I was like, oh, that's a vibe. Okay. And they also have a boat. So we see in one car Jackie, Simone, and Cecil, and they're talking about Jackie helping deliver Simone's children. They're talking about circumcisions. Cecil in the back of the car being uncomfortable. So then they bring up Phaedra, and Simone is like, well, girl, how is the Med Gala going? Like, has Phaedra helped you out? And Jackie pretty much was like, she's not doing what I expected her to do. Like, I asked her, like, are you not getting my phone calls or my emails or my texts? And come to find out, Phaedra got 47 or 37 missed calls and messages. And I'm like, what's going on? So she's just a little nervous. So we find out that Jackie reached out to Heavenly to get her help on the matter. So Heavenly is pretty much like, well, Jackie, why didn't you ask me anyway? You knew I would have had your back. And so Jackie is just nervous about the event not reaching the goal that was set because she wanted a more tamed goal. I think she said like 25 or 50,000, but Phaedra's like, no, we could do 100,000. So in the other car, you see King, Quad, and Phaedra on their way also to the lake house, and Phaedra's asking King and Quad like, oh, are y'all excited about the Med Gala? It's on Saturday. And they're like, yeah, we're excited, but you should be weary because Jackie is a little upset with you because she feel like you're not pulling your weight. So Phaedra is like, what you mean? Like, and Quad's like, she just feels like you're not pulling your weight. So Phaedra's like, let's be honest, in her confessional, the only reason why Dr. Jackie is heading this Med Gala and the premise is about Black women and mortality is because of what happened last season, and she's trying to rehab her image. Now, y'all know last season it was bad for Jackie. That video resurfaced of Jackie and Heavenly on her channel, and she said something about Black women pretty much exaggerating their symptoms and being dramatic, and the girls was upset and angry and gave Jackie the business. So I do feel like this is what is happening, especially with like the Met Gala's whole, like the fundraiser that they're supporting is called, I think, the Cura Foundation. It's head by a widow. His wife died while giving childbirth. So like it makes sense. But then I also look at Phaedra like, girl, tread lightly. Because Phaedra ends up saying like, I'm going to help you clean up your mess, but don't throw me under the bus. And I'm like, well, Phaedra, that's the same person that put out their accusations about their cast member trying to assault somebody or trying to drug them. Like I feel like I get where she coming from, but it's like wrong message, no, right message, wrong messenger. I don't really want to hear anything from Phaedra about people trying to rehab their image when for the past like 6 years, that's what you've been doing. Popping up all these reality shows, being very surface, not giving people a lot of like insight into who you are, and always and just trying to be the comic relief, because you know if we go any further there's really nothing there, or you just don't want us to know what's there. But she made a fair point, because that's what it is. So they pull up to the lake house. It's really nice. Everybody is actually surprised that Quad brought King, because you know Quad don't bring no men around this group. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, like this is serious. Jackie in her confessional, like, are we gonna hear a wedding announcement? Is a baby coming? Like, are you serious? So then Cecil is like, oh my gosh, like he's excited because you know he locked in with Quad. That's his girl. That's his. And he's just like, I'm so happy for you. We've been wanting her to get a man, you know. So then we have this moment where Damon points out that King is like hugged up all up on Quad. And everybody's like, that's because they in the honeymoon stage. But we happy for them. So they separate. The girls go upstairs. The boys stay down. While they're making their way upstairs, Toya and Eugene pull up. And everyone is like, you know, saying hi to them and everything. What I thought was funny with this interaction is when everyone was meeting Zachary and giving him a hug and congratulating him on, you know, getting into dental school, they was like, do you need money? He was like, I don't need no money. And they was like, you don't need no money. And Heavenly looked at him like, do you know how much school costs? Take whatever money you can get. I was like, yeah, Zachary, why are you turning down free money? You better take them funds. Okay, take them. The women are upstairs, the men are downstairs. And so the men are talking to King, trying to get to know him. We find out that he's from New York, but he was born in Jamaica. And the men are just telling him, like, this group of ladies, it's a lot. It's a lot, okay? Like, sometimes you might get roped into the drama that the ladies have going on, but it's best to just nod your head and just be like, take it in for what they're saying, but don't try to add too much 2 cents into it, because they could be fighting like 3 minutes ago or for 3 months, and then within 2 weeks or 2 minutes they back to being friends. So sometimes you just can't get totally like pulled in. And King ends up saying, like, you know, I'm going to look at it as like a married couple. You don't get too involved into what they got going on. And Cecil says in his confessional with Simone, like, King, I believe King that he going to try his best to stay out the drama, but the women going to pull him into it. We clearly see that they get into it when him and Dr. G get into it. Now, Damon interjects and talks about the women, you know, going back and forth and how it gets spicy between them and how they bring up stuff over and over. But they all feel like King got a good head on his shoulders. So upstairs with the women, Toya tells Phaedra, girl, you and the contestant and Sweet Tea can't host no more events. Like, it was a nice girls trip, like where we were at, but ultimately it didn't bring any of us together. And then you see Toya bring up to Heavenly, like, girl, the whole mama thing, you gotta apologize for that. That was wrong. So Heavenly ends up telling Toya, like, girl, I'ma do better, but I can't promise you something that I know I can't hold to, like Phaedra. I'm not gonna be like Phaedra. So Phaedra scrunches up her face like, girl, what? Also, I might ask, I don't understand why Toya is upset that Sweet Tea and Contessa aren't there. And she sounded stupid in the confessional where she was like, I understand this is a family, but like, why are we dividing the group? Girl, clearly you understand this is a family event. Contessa tried to fight Heavenly, talking about square up, hoe. Sweet Tea wanted to put hands on Heavenly too as well. Why would she invite those two women to her own home when they're doing a send-off for her husband? Like, think, Toya. Now, I get you don't want the group to be divided, but like, this was stupid to bring this up. But Toya keeps bringing up to Heavenly, like, girl, the whole your mama thing was messed up. So then Phaedra ends up feeling some type of way, because Phaedra's just like, what you talking about? Like, do I not need to be a part of like this event? And so then Simone interjects and she was like, I'm gonna just let you know they made this one right here, pointing to Heavenly, the co-chair of this foundation. And so Phaedra is like, she can have it. And we're like, no, Phaedra. And so Phaedra's just like, y'all bitches ain't gonna make me feel like I can't deliver on what I like. Ain't none of y'all gonna make me feel like I can't deliver on what I said I was gonna do. Like, none of y'all. So then they like, who you talking about? Who you talking to? So they're like, what kind of like, like who are you to say that we not like you, or you like, basically Phaedra pretty much said the girls ain't on her level. And they was like, what do you mean by that? Because financially, we about the same, and educational wise, we are too. Now, a lot of people got mad on Twitter when I said, I don't know what Phaedra is talking about, because educationally and financially, these women are probably more on Phaedra's level than some of the women, especially when she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I think people who are maybe higher than Phaedra were Nene, especially Candy, probably Kenya, and then Portia and her were probably on the same level, and Kim. But to act like you are so above them, because they was like, Phaedra got jobs. I was like, when the last time we've seen Phaedra actually use her law degree or actually be a mortician? We've never seen anybody advertise Phaedra's services. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, Phaedra. So Phaedra basically says she like FedEx. She always delivers on time. FedEx does not always deliver on time. Neither does Amazon Prime or UPS or the U.S. Postal Service. So let's be honest. Let's be honest. But Phaedra pretty much said she not studying the girls. So then Quad brings up like, hey, why don't we all match like a certain number of money that we're going to put in? So they all say that they're going to contribute $2,500. So then Jackie ends up saying somebody needs to call Quad, and not Quad, someone needs to call Contessa and Sweet Tea. And Jackie, no, Toya gets an attitude. She was like, I don't think that's right for y'all to be asking for money from them when they feel like we are not checking heavily for her behavior. First of all, if they're going to come to the event, a charity event, then they should be donating. So they're on this show. We know they getting paid. They can donate $2,500. It'd be different if this was an event ran by Heavenly, but it's not. It's ran by Jackie. Unless they got issues with Jackie, then I don't see the big deal. I also feel like, girl, I don't get where they're saying that the girls don't check Heavenly. Because like I said in my last review, I feel like they check Heavenly. It's just that like nobody's willing to guard her or isolate her in the way that like Toya, Contessa, or Sweet Tea or Phaedra want them to. I don't get it. They end up taking really nice pictures with Zachary and stuff like that, and everyone's encouraging him. And Eugene brings up the percentage of black men in medicine, and it's a pretty low percentage. So everyone's just like really encouraging him to like stick with it. And I think he has the best community around him. He has black male doctors, because when I think about it, I don't know that many black men that are in dentistry. I know like actual doctors, like physicians and those who are PhD holders and stuff like that. But I don't remember ever meeting a black male dentist. I've met female black dentists, veterinarians, all the other fields, but never dentistry. So I do hope that Zachary sticks with it and that he is successful. And I think it's great that Heavenly and Damon are doctors, so they can probably talk to him about having imposter syndrome when he gets to school, or just struggling and keeping him to like keep up the good fight. So congratulations to him. So then we have this scene of Sweet Tea going to see Phaedra. So they're at Phaedra's house catching up. Phaedra tells Sweet Tea about Heavenly hosting Zachary. Sweet Tea ends up saying, I don't F with her like that. I said, okay, girl. They talk about the debacle that was this trip and saying how Heavenly was on one. Phaedra ends up explaining how Jackie pretty much is doubting her, and she was kind of upset that she didn't think Jackie would ever do her like that. And here's the thing about that. I'm wondering, when did Jackie ask Phaedra to be a part of this? Was it earlier on in its inception of what her ideas were, or was it later to the end? Because then I could understand Phaedra's like frustrations. But if this happened and you were asked to be on this in the beginning and you said yes, and you're not responding to emails, text messages, and you just keep using your mouthpiece to say, I got y'all, I got you, and you don't produce anything, then yeah, I'm gonna talk about you. But I do think Jackie needs to start speaking up, and it's been long overdue. I feel like something happened after like season 3 or 4, because I feel like Jackie was more vocal in the earlier seasons of Married to Medicine. Then now that we're here in this season, it does feel like she uses other people to speak up for her, specifically Heavenly. And Toya is like the main person that's always like calling her out, because it's like, Jackie, say what you mean and mean what you say. Like, and that's why I've always been a Simone fan, because even though Simone can put her foot in her mouth. She can be sometimes wrong about the things that she says, like loud and wrong, but it's her saying these things. Nobody else is saying anything for Simone. Simone is telling you how she feels, what she means, and it is what it is. And I appreciate that aspect of her. And so I just feel like I wish Jackie was more like that, because I feel like people would give Jackie more grace. But Jackie holds this specific archetype in the Black community of this strong, stoic Black woman who, like, all the while, you know, there's skeletons in her closet, but it's like she's trying to be politically correct. She's trying to dress up a mess instead of just saying how she feel. If you mad at Phaedra, tell Phaedra. Be like, girl, you not doing what you said you were supposed to do, and I have an issue with it. And clock it and call it a day. And we know Jackie got it in her because we seen her check people before. So they sitting there eating, and then Phaedra ends up telling I call it Toya, Sweet Tea, about Toya telling Heavenly she was wrong about the yo ho your mama thing, and Heavenly said she was gonna work on it and that she wants to have a sit down with Contessa because she owes her an apology. Sweet Tea for some reason gets an attitude, basically saying, when is she gonna give me an apology? And I'm like, she did give you an apology when y'all were down at the rodeo and you told her you didn't feel like it was genuine or authentic. You can't keep forcing somebody to apologize and apologize to you, and then you critique it so harshly that you don't believe that it's genuine. You don't like Heavenly, Sweet Tea, aka Letitia. You don't think anything from her is genuine. So anytime she gives you an apology, you're not going to take it. And then to say that it's an apology with conditions where you're like, she needs to apologize and give me an olive branch. Girl, no. I don't have to give you no, I think she said a peace offering. I don't have to give you nothing. An apology should suffice. And she gave you that. I don't know if Sweet Tea wants Heavenly like to grovel to her, but Sweet Tea also sounds stupid to me because, like Toya, you said what it was. Dr. Heavenly doesn't respect you. She doesn't value your marriage. She doesn't respect you as a person. So she's never going to give you what you want. So why not just move on and move away from it? Phaedra ends up saying that she feels like the ladies don't check Heavenly because they agree with her. And again, I say they do check her, but they're not willing to throw her away just because. Like, we've seen all of them cuss her out. We've seen Toya cuss Heavenly out. We've seen Simone cuss Heavenly out. We've seen Quad cuss her out. Jackie cuss her out. Heck, if Mariah was there, Mariah has cussed Heavenly out. You know, Anila checked Heavenly. Carrie has checked Heavenly. Who else? Even Lisa Nicole Cloud, I don't know. Lisa Nicole Cloud, I don't think has ever really checked Heavenly. But the ladies have checked Heavenly, have told Heavenly they don't respect her behavior. They don't like her behavior. At the end of the day, they understand that, like, either the network is they're not going to get rid of Heavenly because they see value in Heavenly. So they just roll with it. But to act like the ladies don't tell Heavenly about herself is a weird assessment to me. Well, we've seen the ladies cuss Heavenly out and tell her they don't like her behavior and the F off. It is what it is, you know? And so it ends there with where Quad saying that Heavenly goes to church every day, and then Sweet Tea being like, what church? And she said, I think she said something about hellish Baptist or something like that. I don't know. So the next thing we see is everybody getting ready for the Med Gala. We see Jackie and Heavenly and the other lady that we saw before at the event space, they, putting up the flowers and everything. It kind of looked bare to me. I'm going to be honest. Like, if you're going to tell me we going into a garden, I need everything to be greenery. I need flower. Like, it needs to be like, Mother Nature threw up in there. Okay, it needs to be flowers, fake animals everywhere. Like, give me garden vibes, okay? That wasn't giving me that. I mean, it was a cute little cocktail kind of hour kind of vibe, but it wasn't giving me, like, gala, all right? So we then see Contessa. Contessa had this like band over her head, this tiara. I said, girl, please don't wear that. Her daughter is very pretty. I was wondering why she was dressed up, and later on we find out that she is her date to the event because Scott didn't want to be there because he didn't want to be around Heavenly. I feel like that's a cop-out. I really do. For a fact, Heavenly probably was not going to her, especially at Jackie's event. And also, it is what it is, Contessa. So we also see King and Quad ends up asking King, how are you going to feel when you see my ex-husband? And King like, that's your past, I don't care. Like, I don't care about that man. And he was like, do you care? And she was like, no. And then I think Quad ends up saying F that man, or like F him, like I don't care, like I don't look in the past, I look to my future. And I said, all right. So we see everybody pull up there. We see Dr. Alicia looking so pretty, and I'm mad at her because although she wasn't like a favorite of mine, I really did enjoy her to a certain extent last season, and I would have liked her to come back this season. But I feel like Alicia and her husband allowed themselves to look goofy that they were probably too embarrassed to come back. I feel especially her husband. I think her husband was very mortified by the fans' response to him, because a lot of things where he was like, well, no, I'm Jamaican, I'm Nigerian. And a lot of the Jamaicans and Nigerians were coming out saying, you're a lie, because what you're saying, a lot of us do that. So I just feel like she allowed that man to squander her opportunity to be on this show, because I would have loved to see her come back, especially because it would have been interesting to see Alicia interact with Contessa and what's her name? Contessa and Sweet Tea. Because I wonder if she would have been on their side, or if she would have fit in more with the other ladies. Because to be honest, Alicia checked Heavenly too. So it's not like Heavenly is uncheckable. So I would have liked to see her. We also finally get to see Mimi, Dr. Mimi, and her husband Steve. And I was happy because I was like, when is she coming? Because I was excited to see her. So it seems like she's going to be coming in next episode. But she's a psychiatrist. She's being introduced to us by way of Greg and Sweet Tea. But a lot of people online were like, she said she got introduced to the group by Contessa. But hey, Contessa's a friend of, so I don't think that they would allow a friend of to introduce another friend of. So that's probably why she'll be introduced by Greg and Sweet Tea. Anila there with Kieran. Kieran looks good. Anila looks good. She was trying to get her screen time. I wonder if they're going to bring Anila back. I feel like if they did bring her back, she probably would come back around, we're on season 11. I can see them bringing her back for like season 13 as a friend of, the same way they did Carrie. I could definitely see them bringing Anila back as a friend of, because she's still around. But it was nice to see her to a certain extent, because Anila got on my nerves, but it was nice to see her. Out of everyone's outfit, I like Quaz the most. Like, I love a nice pantsuit, and I did like the exaggerated white flower. I thought she looked really pretty. I really didn't like Sweet Tea's outfit. It, as much as Heavenly was critiquing it, I didn't like Heavenly's outfit either. But for me, Sweet Tea's outfit, it gave prom. And I wasn't like, it just didn't give what I thought it was going to give. And I didn't really like the headpiece. I didn't think it went with her outfit. We got to see Dwight. It's always nice to see Dwight. He was Phaedra's guest. They look nice. I hated Phaedra's blonde hair. I don't like Phaedra and blonde hair. I didn't like Heavenly's outfit because you could see the mesh underneath hers. It was like she had on like a skirt. It's supposed to be like a see-through dress, and she was supposed to have the skin-colored dress underneath, but it wasn't the right skin color, so it didn't work for me. We see Curtis. Moly Mole is there. Everyone sees him. And then, Simone is introducing everybody to each other. Everyone's wondering where Scott is and all of that stuff. So this interaction between Damon and Gregory, where Damon actually apologizes to Gregory and Gregory accepts it, and they have the bro dap up. Pretty much Damon says like he didn't like the fact that they weren't on good terms, because they've always been on good terms. He also said that, when I'm hurt, it sometimes comes out as anger, and that's what it was. I didn't like, he pretty much was like, I didn't mean to give you like dismissive attitude or anything like that. It's just, it hurt me that you would like, stop giving your clients to me, not defend my character. And Greg was like, I understand. And so he apologizes, and he was like, I'm glad we back on good terms. And pretty much Greg is like, I'm going to try to keep my wife together. You keep your wife in check. Cecil is like, this is what I like to see. When I tell you Cecil is in charge of the men, Cecil is in charge of the men. He just is. And then Heavenly almost ruined it by coming up to try to talk to Damon to get a picture. And I said, Heavenly, go away. Go away. But honestly, Heavenly should be apologizing to Damon. This should have been a moment where Heavenly came in and said, what y'all are talking about? And Damon should have been like, I'm apologizing. And Heavenly should have took the initiative to say, you know what? Although me and your wife aren't on good terms and I don't like her, I shouldn't have went that far and said what I said about you. And I am truly sorry for those things and the things that have affected you by my words, and kept it pushing. But it's Heavenly, and I don't know if she gonna do that. I don't know. She apologized online, but I don't know. So, like I said, they dap each other up. We then see Dr. Mimi and Sweet Tea have a conversation where she was like, "Have you spoken to anybody?" And she was like, "No, I'm trying to keep it cute." And she was like, "That's understandable. Definitely understandable." So then it's time to do the auction. And they're trying to raise $100,000 for Kira Foundation. We meet her widowed husband, Charles. Kira unfortunately passed away during childbirth. So he started this foundation in remembrance of her and also bringing awareness to women, especially Black women, who are affected by mortality. What is it called? It's maternal mortality rates or something. I think that's how you pronounce it. And so they start the auction off, and Dwight goes up there and help. I think they do like a Morocco trip, but it's only the hotel. The flight's not included. So everybody was just kind of like, girl, but they got it for $3,500. Jackie's like, we starting off slow, but it might get better. Jackie offers off doing O shots. Toya got her hand raised. Toya's outfit I hated. She looked like she was going to a funeral at the Kentucky Derby. But she raised her hand for $500 for the O shot. Somebody else got it for $1,200. Kieran offered like a facial package, and that was $1,200. No, it was $750. Quad did auction off like cooking services because we know Quad can cook. And she wanted to start it off at $4,000. I said, girl, that's a lot. No, $3,000. I was like, that's a lot. But I think it went for like $1,500. Gregory was like she could cook. I said, Gregory, if we roll back them tapes, you was always begging Quad to cook for you. So what we talking about? And then he tried to gas Sweet Tea up in the confessional, being like, I'd rather have my current wife's cooking. And even she was like, baby, that's cap. Yeah, so shut up. Shut up, Gregory. They auctioned off a date with Phaedra, and they started off at $4,000. When Cecil said, damn, $4,000, I cackled. I cackled. And nobody was listening. You then have Heavenly being like, Dr. G, you want one? And Sweet Tea's face. And then Contessa was like, really? I said, yeah, Heavenly gonna be disrespectful. She's just gonna be disrespectful. Simone grabs the mic and says, I don't think nobody want to go out on a date with Phaedra. Let's end it here. But then this guy comes up saying that him and Phaedra went out on a date 28 years ago. And mind you, he looked way older than that. I said, well, Phaedra, how old were you and how old was he? Do we need to call the authorities? Because he looked at least a good 10 years older than you, ma'am. And so he says he'll take her up on the offer. So a date with Phaedra sold for $4,000. I cannot get my numbers right. So even Toya said in her confessional, basically saying, I don't even think Phaedra want to go on a date with herself. I thought it was funny. They offer off some bowl that Quad blew, like they glass blew together. It went for $5,000, and then they counted up the money. They only got to all together with auction and ticket sales to $53,340. So the remaining balance were $46,660. And Phaedra was like, "Girl, I got it. Let's." And Heavenly was like, "Phaedra, that's a lot of money." And she was like, "Yeah, I got it. I have jobs. I got it." And I was like, "Was she good?" I want to know, did she pay the check? Like, was she good for it? Because you can say you have $46,660, but do you have the money? So they do the fake check. We see Simone introduce King and Quad to Mimi and Steven. Simone says, this one right here is stubborn. And Quad said, and so is she. And Simone said, oh. And I said, yeah, Simone, you are just as stubborn as Quad. It is what it is. So they present the check to Charles, and it's cheers, yays all around, and Jackie feels like she did a job well done. She hopes she never is the chairman of this foundation ever again, and she is proud of everybody for participating. Yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. And as always, remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below and share your thoughts with me. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.